The 2023-2024 session of Rhode Island State Senate is hereby called to order. At this time, may we please have a moment of silence for former Rhode Island Governor Lincoln C. Almond. Thank you. It is my pleasure to welcome everyone to the chamber and wish everyone a happy new year. Ladies and gentlemen of the Senate and distinguished guests, as the senior senator from Newport, it is my distinct honor to welcome all of you to the Senate chamber. To all of the returning senators, as well as our newly elected members, congratulations to each of you on your elections. Being chosen by your neighbors to serve in this chamber is a great privilege and a great responsibility. We have important work ahead of us, and I look forward to serving alongside all of you for the next 2 years. The last time we gathered for inaugural ceremonies, we were at Rhode Island College. It was a challenging time for all of us and for all of the communities that we serve. Today, we can celebrate that our circumstances have improved and that we are able to gather here in the People's House. But while COVID's worst days may be over, it continues to impact our lives in ways large and small. The pandemic has affected everyone in Rhode Island, many of us in profound ways. Our work in this coming session will continue to be focused on helping Rhode Islanders recover and ensuring that our state is on course for a brighter and more prosperous future. In this chamber, we bring together people of very different backgrounds and viewpoints to address the challenges that we face. Diversity is our strength, and I'm immensely proud to be able to highlight that the 2023-2024 Rhode Island Senate is the most diverse in the chamber's history. Let us all remember that we stand on the shoulders of those who came before us and that we are here to represent the people of Rhode Island. I would like to appoint the following committee to escort the Honorable Erin Lynch Prada, Justice on the Rhode Island Supreme Court, to the rostrum. Would Senators Goodwin, Lombardi, LaMountain, McKinney, and Ujifusa kindly retreat to the rear of the chamber?
Madam Chair, Her Honor, Justice Erin Lynch.
Thank you to the Senator Escort Committee and welcome back to the chamber. We will now stand at ease just for a moment while we wait for the Secretary of State. At this point, I would like to appoint the following committee to escort the Honorable Greg Amore, Secretary of State, to the rostrum. Would Senators Brito, Lawson, DePalma, and Cano kindly retreat to the rear of the chamber?
Madam Chair, the Honorable Secretary of State, Greg Amore.
It is my honor and privilege to introduce the Honorable Greg Amore, Secretary of State, to certify the roll of those duly elected to this chamber and to administer the oath of office. Secretary Amore.
Thank you, Senator. You're welcome. Nice to see you. Good afternoon and Happy New Year. It took me 10 years to get across the hall, but I'm here now. I, Greg Amore, Secretary of State, hereby certify the following list of members elected to the Senate in the General Assembly, in accordance with the certificate of election filed in this office by the Board of Elections on the 22nd day of November, 2022, as provided by Section 22-3-13 of the General Laws of 1956. Mary Ellen Goodwin, Anna B. Casada, Samuel D. Zurier, Dominick J. Ruggerio, Samuel W. Bale, Tiara T. Mack, Frank A. Chacon, Sandra C. Cano, John P. Burke, Walter S. Felag Jr., Linda L. Ujafusa, Louis P. DePalma, Dawn M. Oyer, Valerie J. Lawson, Megan E. Coleman, Jonathan Acosta, Thomas J. Paolino, Robert Brito, Ryan W. Pearson, Roger A. Picard, Gordon E. Rogers, David P. Takoyan, Jessica De La Cruz, Melissa A. Murray, Frank Lombardo III, Frank S. Lombardi, Joshua Miller, Anthony P. DeLuca II, Mark P. McKenney, Matthew L. LaMountain, Pamela J. Loria, Leonidas P. Raptakis, Elaine J. Morgan, Bridget G. Valverde, Alana M. DeMario, Virginia S. Sosnowski, Victoria Gu. Senators, will you please stand and raise your right hand? You being chosen to the place of Senator in the General Assembly, do solemnly swear that you will be true and faithful to this state of Rhode Island, that you will support the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution and laws of this state, and that you will faithfully and impartially discharge the duties of your office to the best of your abilities, according to law, so help you God. I do. Congratulations.
I would like to request the reading clerk to call the roll of the body. The members will please respond by stating present.
Senator Acosta. Present. Senator Bell. Present. Senator Brito. Present. Senator Burke. Present. Senator Cano. Present. Senator Chacon. Here. Senator De La Cruz. Present. Senator DeLuca. Present. Senator DeMario. Senator DePalma, Senator Oyer, Senator Felag, Senator Gallo, Senator Goodwin, Senator Gu, Senator Coleman, Senator LaMountain, Senator Loria, Senator Lawson, Senator Lombardi. Present. Senator Lombardo. Present. Senator Mack. Present. Senator McKinney. Present. Senator Miller. Present. Senator Morgan. Present. Senator Murray. Present. Senator Paolino. Present. Senator Pearson. Present. Senator Picard. Here. Senator Casada. Present. Senator Raptakis. Present. Senator Rogers. Present. Senator Ruggerio. Here. Senator Sosnowski. Present. Senator Takoyan. Present. Senator Ujifusa. Present. Senator Valverde. Present. Senator Zurier. Madam Chair, we have a quorum.
Thank you. It is now my sincere honor to introduce Father T.J. Varghese from the Mary Mother of Mankind Church in North Providence to deliver the invocation. Would the members and our guests please rise?
Heavenly Father, bless us and shield our leaders with wisdom and fortitude, that they may lead all people in righteousness. Enable our Rhode Island Senators to make our land a land of justice and goodness for all. Help them to organize our lives for a better day. Enlarge the doors of your kingdom. Open wide the arms of your tender, loving care. Strengthen their hands and bless them with the consecrated hearts to serve our people with the devotion and dedication, that our land, the land of the brave, may ever be the home of the free, its beacon shining, a guiding light to those yet struggling in darkness and oppression, yearning for the light. May their inspiration ever be peace and erase of fear, and cause us to stand ever firm on the foundation of your steadfast love and justice for all humankind. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Thank you, Father. Will the members and our guests please remain standing for the presentation of colors by the Providence Fire Department, the Pledge of Allegiance, and singing of the national anthem until the colors are retired. I would like to now call on Senate Majority Leader Ryan W. Pearson to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands,
one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I would now like to call on North Providence Town Councilman Stephen A. Laporcio to sing the national anthem.
by the dawn's early light, what so proudly we hailed, and the twilight's last gleaming, those stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight. All the ramparts we walked were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof to the night that our flag was still there. Oh, save the flag, star-spangled banner yet wave, for the land of the free and the home of the brave.
Thank you, Councilman. At this time, I would now like to ask the Providence Fire Department to retire the colors and to thank them for their duty to our state and for their gracious assistance with today's special events. Thank you, gentlemen. Members and guests, you may now be seated. The first order of business is the adoption of the interim rules. I will entertain a motion for the adoption of the 2022-2023 Senate rules as the interim rules of the Senate until the Senate Rules Committee makes a formal report. Leader Pearson.
Thank you, Madam Presiding Officer. I move to reinstate the 2022 to 2023 rules pending the report of the Rules Committee and the adoption of a resolution embodying permanent rules for the 2023-2024 session.
Thank you, Leader. Is there a second? Leader Delacruz, thank you. Any discussion? Hearing none, the clerk will unlock the machine and take the tally. The clerk will please lock the machine. We have 37 votes in the affirmative, none in the negative, and the rules are adopted. The next order of business is the election of the President of the Senate. The Chair will entertain a motion to open the floor to nominations. The Chair recognizes Whip Mary Ellen Goodwin.
Thank you, Madam President. I move that nominations for office of the President be open.
Thank you, Senator Goodwin. Is there a second to that motion? Senator DePalma? Thank you, Senator DePalma. It has been moved and seconded that the floor be open for nominations. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye. All those opposed, nay. The ayes have it, and the floor is now open for nomination. The Chair recognizes Senator Feeleg.
After 24 Madam Chairwoman, I'm honored to nominate Dominick Ruggerio to a new term as President of the Senate. For 24 years, I've had the distinct privilege of serving alongside Senator Ruggerio in this chamber. He is a mentor and a friend to me, as such to many other senators. He has been an outstanding Senate President and remains the clear choice to lead us forward in the 23-24 session. Donnie leads with an experienced, steady hand and truly understands the governmental process. He has a deep reverence for this institution and a passion for the important work we do together as the Senate. Each of us brings our own perspective, our own goals to this chamber. President Ruggerio truly values the diversity of thought and life experiences. His door is always open to each of us, and he never wavers in his inclusive, consensus-driven, visionary approach, while never shying away from the difficult decisions. He works with the members of the Senate to address the many issues facing our state and our constituents. Dominick has assembled a dedicated staff of professionals to address all our constituents' problems, along with assisting individual senators with their legislation and our yearly state fiscal budget. Kudos to our Senate staff. President Ruggerio is dedicated to making Rhode Island a better place to live, work, and play, and is committed to lifting up all Rhode Islanders. As chairman of the Committee on Special Legislation and Veterans Affairs, I have seen Donnie's devotion to those who serve our nation in uniform. Senator Ruggerio has enabled me and other senators to do incredibly important work on veterans issues. Over the summer, I joined the Senate President and others at the Operation Stand Down event in Johnston to celebrate the passage of several veterans bills, including legislation sponsored by me to exempt the military pensions from the state income taxes. At a time of rising cost and uncertainty, the state tax relief will make a real difference in the lives of our retired service members and their families. Also, the fiscal budget, exempting the municipal car tax, will help people's pocketbooks. Improving the lives of Rhode Islanders is the goal of the Senate, and Donnie's career in public service mirrors this objective. I ask you to join me in supporting Dominick Ruggerio for re-election to the office of President of the Senate. Thank you.
Thank you, Senator Felag. Is there a second to that nomination? The chair recognizes Senator Lawson.
Thank you, Madam Chairwoman. I rise to second the nomination of Dominick Ruggerio for re-election as Senate President. As Chairman Felag noted, Donnie is a remarkable leader. He listens to the members of the Senate, welcoming newer voices like my own, and values our perspectives. He empowers us to work on issues that are important to our constituents. He helps us be more effective public servants. He provides a calm and steady presence, even in times of disagreement and contentious debate. His fairness and commitment to the institution set an example for all of us. Donnie is also a champion of the working people and a powerful advocate for the most vulnerable members of our community. In the past 2 years, under Donnie's leadership, we've made historic progress in Rhode Island on so many important issues, from housing to food insecurity to education and the environment. We have strengthened and expanded our state's early child care and education system, which as an educator, I know will change the course of lives of many young lives. We have put Rhode Island on a course for a cleaner, more resilient, and more prosperous future, harnessing the potential of blue and green economies and becoming a national leader on climate action. And those are just some of the achievements under Donnie's leadership. And his commitment to this body goes well beyond legislation. He helps us achieve our own priorities, In this last session, I was grateful for his help on requiring insurance coverage for pediatric autoimmune psychiatric disorders to become law. This is a game changer for our families facing an incredibly stressful and challenging situation. I'm also grateful for his support on my legislation, which ultimately became a budget article to launch a retail SNAP incentive program, which is a pilot. This will help thousands of Rhode Islanders afford fresh, healthy fruits and vegetables, and is an extremely important investment in our state's future. These are just two examples of the Senate President's character, commitment, and effectiveness. While we've made enormous progress together, we have much unfinished business as we embark on this new session. Re-electing Dominick Ruggerio as Senate President is an essential first step, and I ask you all today to join me in supporting him for a new term. Thank you.
Thank you, Senator Lawson. Are there any additional nominations? Hearing none, the chair will entertain a motion to close the floor to nominations. The chair recognizes Senator Raptakis.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I move that the floor be closed to nominations for the office of President of the Senate.
Thank you, Senator Raptakis. Is there a second on that motion? Senator Chacon.
Thank you, Madam. I second the motion.
Thank you, Senator Chacon. It has been moved and seconded that the floor be closed for nominations. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, please signify by saying aye. All those opposed, nay. Aye. The ayes have it, and the floor is now closed for nominations. I would like to request the reading clerk to call the roll of the body. Members will please respond by stating the name of their nominee.
Senator Acosta. Senator Acosta, Ruggerio. Senator Bell. Senator Bell, abstain. Senator Brito. Senator Brito, Ruggerio. Senator Burke. Senator Burke, Ruggerio. Senator Cano. Senator Cano, Ruggerio. Senator Chacon. Senator Chacon, Ruggerio. Senator Dela Cruz. Senator Dela Cruz, Ruggerio. Senator DeLuca. Senator DeLuca, Ruggerio. Senator DiMario. Senator DiMario, Ruggerio. Senator DePalma. Senator DePalma, Ruggerio. Senator Oyer.
Ruggerio.
Senator Oyer, Ruggerio. Senator Felag. Senator Felag, Ruggerio. Senator Gallo. Senator Goodwin. Senator Goodwin, Ruggerio. Senator Gu. Senator Gu, Ruggerio. Senator Coleman. Senator Coleman, Ruggerio. Senator LaMountain. Senator LaMountain, Ruggerio. Senator Lauria. Senator Lauria, Ruggerio. Senator Lawson. Senator Lawson, Ruggerio. Senator Lombardi. Senator Lombardi, Ruggerio. Senator Lombardo. Senator Lombardo, Ruggerio. Senator Mack. Senator Mack, Ruggerio. Senator McKinney. Senator McKinney, Ruggerio. Senator Miller. Senator Miller, Ruggerio. Senator Morgan. Senator Morgan, Ruggerio. Senator Murray. Senator Murray, Ruggerio. Senator Paolino. Senator Paolino, Ruggerio. Senator Pearson. Senator Pearson, Ruggerio. Senator Picard. Senator Picard, Ruggerio. Senator Casada. Senator Casada, Ruggerio. Senator Raptakis. Senator Raptakis, Ruggerio. Senator Rogers. Senator Rogers, Ruggerio. Senator Ruggerio. Senator Ruggerio, Ruggerio. Senator Sosnowski. Senator Sosnowski, Ruggerio. Senator Tokoyan. Senator Tokoyan, Ruggerio. Senator Ujifusa. Senator Ujifusa, Ruggerio. Senator Valverde. Senator Valverde, Ruggerio. Senator Zurier. Senator Zurier, Ruggerio. Madam Chair, we have 36 in favor of Senator Ruggerio with 1 in the negative.
Thank you, Mr. Clerk. Senator Dominick J. Ruggerio has been elected President of the Rhode Island Senate for the years 2023 and 2024. It is my sincere honor to introduce the Honorable Erin Lynch Prada, Justice of the Rhode Island Supreme Court, to administer the oath to the President of the Senate.
I want to thank everyone very much for being here today. I want to thank Chairman Felag and also Senator Lawson for their kind remarks. To all my colleagues, I am truly grateful for your support. Congratulations to each of you for being elected to serve in the Rhode Island Senate. Thank you for entrusting me to continue leading this chamber for another 2 years. Serving as a Senate President is an incredible honor and a responsibility that I take seriously. I pledge to continue working collaboratively with each of you to accomplish our goals, to serve our constituents, to build consensus, and to move Rhode Island forward. I want to take a moment to thank my family and my supporters for all the support that they have provided me over the years. I could not have done it without them. 2 years ago, as Senator Oyer mentioned at Rhode Island College, we convened the 2021-2022 legislative session under very different and very difficult circumstances. I am thankful that as we embark on 2024 legislative session, our situation has improved and that we have returned here to the people's building to do the people's business. And I am proud of the incredible progress that we made the last legislative session. Working together, we acted to improve the lives of our neighbors and made Rhode Island a better place. We provided needed tax relief to Rhode Islanders struggling under the weight of inflation. But we continue to face many challenges, and we have unfinished business to do. Our focus remains unchanged, ensuring every student in every city and town in the state of Rhode Island receives a quality education and a strong foundation for further success. Ensuring every Rhode Islander can access health care, especially the mental health resources that are needed more than ever. ensuring our children inherit a cleaner, more resilient environment, ensuring that all Rhode Island families have the opportunity to prosper, and also ensuring that our small business can create jobs and thrive. We will continue to strengthen and expand Rhode Island's early childhood care and education system, including universal pre-kindergarten access. We will undertake a much-needed review of our education funding formula to ensure resources are being distributed equitably and efficiently. We will take up the recommendation of Chairman Joshua Miller and our Commission on Health and Human Services to ensure these critical systems are serving our most vulnerable neighbors to the best degree possible. We will address the mental health crisis amongst our children, take action to replace all of Rhode Island's lead pipes, and continue our work to ensure all Rhode Islanders have access to safe and affordable housing. These are some of the challenges we can and will address together in the session that lies ahead. Please join me in welcoming our 7 new members and 1 returning member to the chamber, and I'd ask them to please stand as I call their name. Senator Robert Brito, Senator Anthony DeLuca, Senator Victoria Gu, Senator Matthew Lamountain, Senator Pamela Lauria, Senator Mark McKinney, Senator Linda Ujafusa, and Senator Dave Tokoyan. Welcome to the Senate. I would be remiss if I didn't recognize the retiring Senate Majority Leader Michael McCaffrey. He was my right hand for 3 decades. He served the Senate with great distinction. I relied on him for so many things to navigate the most difficult issues that we faced. I also want to thank a retiring Senate Minority Leader, Dennis Algier, for his service and friendship. He is a great statesman, a gentleman, and a great public servant. I am grateful for their leadership and wish them every happiness as they move on to the new chapters in their lives. However, I am privileged and excited to welcome Ryan Pearson as the new Senate Majority Leader. Those who know Ryan know that he is an enormously talented individual and an incredible hard-working person. Time and time again, he has shown that he brings people together, and he knows how to get results for the people of Rhode Island. I look forward to working with him, Senate Majority Whip Mary Ellen Goodwin, the new Minority Leader, Senator Jessica Dela Cruz, and each and every member of this chamber towards the betterment of our state. With last year's elections behind us, we begin the hard work of governing. Together in the spirit of service and collaboration, let us find common purpose in our shared commitment to our communities, our shared love for our state, and our shared hope for a better future. To my new colleagues, it doesn't get better than today. Because today you get sworn in, tomorrow you get sworn at. We are fortunate to have a great team in the Senate, and I am humbled to once again serve as the president of this chamber. I want to thank everyone who came here today. My good friend Steve Laporcio, thank you, Steve, and everyone who came to honor everyone here today. This is a very important day for all of us. However, the work starts tomorrow. So I want to thank you all for coming, and at this time I would like to call on Senator Goodwin. Senator Pearson.
President, I believe the next order of business is the election of the Secretary of the Senate.
I believe you're right. Are there any nominations? Senator Chacon.
Thank you, Mr. President. Mr. President, ladies and gentlemen of the Senate, I rise to nominate John E. Fleming as Secretary of the Senate.
Thank you, Senator Cohn. Senator Chacon, is there a second to that nomination? The chair recognizes Senator Tokoyan.
Thank you, Mr. President. Mr. President, ladies and gentlemen of the House, I rise to... Wow, the Senate. Sorry, first day. I second the nomination of John E. Fleming as Secretary of the Senate.
Senator Tokoyan seconds the nomination. Thank you, Senator Tokoyan. Are there any additional nominations? Hearing none, the clerk will please unlock the machine. If all members have cast their vote, the clerk will lock the machine. There are 36 votes in the affirmative, none in the negative. And it's my pleasure to announce that John E. Fleming, Jr. of North Providence has been elected Secretary of the Senate for the years 2023 and 2024. The next order of business is the election of the reading clerk of the Senate. Are there any nominations? The chair recognizes Senator Cano.
Thank you, Mr. President. Mr. President, ladies and gentlemen of the Senate, I rise to nominate my good friend, John S. Baxter, as reading clerk of the Senate.
Thank you, Senator Cano. Is there a second to that nomination? The chair recognizes Senator Brito.
Thank you, Mr. President. Mr. President, ladies and gentlemen of the Senate, I rise to second the nomination of John S. Baxter as reading clerk of the Senate.
Thank you, Senator Brito. Are there any further nominations? Hearing none, the clerk will unlock the machine. If all members have cast their vote, the clerk will lock the machine. There are 37 votes in the affirmative, none in the negative. And it's my pleasure to announce that John S. Baxter of Pawtucket has been elected reading clerk of the Senate for the years of 2023 and 2024. I now call on Secretary of State Greg Amore to administer the oath of office to the Secretary of the Senate-elect Fleming and the reading clerk-elect Baxter.
And we'll start with the Secretary of the Senate. Do you, John E. Fleming, as Secretary of the Senate, solemnly swear that you will be true and faithful to the state of Rhode Island, that you will support the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution and the laws of this state, and that you will faithfully and impartially discharge the duties of your office to the best of your abilities, according to the law, so help you God? Congratulations. John. Do you, John S. Baxter, as reading clerk of the Senate, solemnly swear that you will be true and faithful to this state of Rhode Island, that you will support the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution and laws of this state, and that you will faithfully and impartially discharge the duties of your office to the best of your abilities, according to law, so help you God? I do. Congratulations.
I want to thank the Secretary of State for being here today, and we appreciate, and I want to also congratulate him on his election. Next order of business, the election of the President Pro Tem of the Senate. Are there any nominations? The chair recognizes Senator Burke.
Thank you, Mr. President. Mr. President, ladies and gentlemen of the Senate, I rise to nominate Hannah M. Gallo as Senate President Pro Tempore.
Thank you, Senator Burke. Senator Burke nominates Senator Hannah Gallo for that position. Is there a second? Chairwoman Oyer.
Thank you, Mr. President. Mr. President, ladies and gentlemen of the Senate, I rise to second the nomination of Hannah M. Gallo as the Senate President Pro Tem.
Senator Oyer seconds the motion. Are there any additional nominations? Hearing none, the clerk will please unlock the machine. If all members have cast their vote, the clerk will lock the machine. There are 37 votes in the affirmative, none in the negative. And it's my pleasure to announce that Senator Hannah M. Gallo from the city of Cranston has been elected the President Pro Tem for the years 2023-2024. Next order of business is the election of the Deputy President Pro Tem of the Senate. Are there any nominations? The chair recognizes Senator Murray.
Thank you, Mr. President. Ladies and gentlemen of the Senate, I rise to nominate my colleague from Woonsocket, Roger A. Picard, as Deputy Senate President Pro Tem.
Thank you, Senator Murray. Is there a second? Leader Pearson.
Thank you, Mr. President. I am proud to second the nomination of my dear friend, Senator Picard, who does reside in the city of Woonsocket, but does represent both the city of Woonsocket and the great town of Cumberland, and I second that nomination.
Thank you, Senator Pearson. Are there any additional nominations? Hearing none, the clerk will please unlock the machine. If all members have cast their vote, the clerk will lock the machine. There are 37 votes in the affirmative, none in the negative. And it's my pleasure to announce that Senator Roger A. Picard of the city of Woonsocket has been elected Deputy President Pro Tem for the years 2023-2024. That concludes our business for today. However, I want to recognize the presence of some of the people who came here earlier today but had to leave to attend other functions. That was Lieutenant Governor Sabina Matos, Attorney General Nerona, Mayor Donald Grebian and his wife, Councilman Ronald Batkala, and former Mayor of North Providence, Richard Fossa. But I want to thank them all for being here today and for stopping by. The next item is communications. We have several communications, but we only have to read one, and that's from Senator Goodwin regarding the Democratic caucus. I'll have the clerk read that.
To the Honorable the Senate, this is to inform you that the Democratic senators met at Providence Marriott on November 10, 2022 to elect the Honorable Ryan W. Pearson of the 19th Senatorial District as the Senate Majority Leader for the 2023-2024 term. Sincerely, Mary Ellen Goodwin, Senator, District 1, Democratic Caucus Secretary.
Thank you, Mr. Clerk. We also have another communication from Leader Dela Cruz. The clerk will please read.
Dear President Ruggerio, please be advised that the Senate Minority Caucus met on November 9, 2022, and has voted to appoint me, Senator Jessica Dela Cruz, as Minority Leader, and Senator Gordon Rogers as Minority Whip. This leadership team is in place and shall be considered effective immediately. We look forward to working together. Sincerely, Jessica Dela Cruz, Senate Minority Leader.
Thank you, Mr. Clerk. From the Secretary of State, Greg Amore, certifying the list of members elected to the Rhode Island Senate. We will place that on file. From the Secretary of State, Amore, informing the oath of office was administered to Dominick J. Ruggerio as President of the Senate. We will place that on file. From Secretary of State Amore, administering the oath to the Secretary of the Senate. We will place that on file. And from the Secretary of State Amore, administering the oath of office to the reading clerk, we will also place that on file. That brings us to introductions. I don't think anyone has any introductions today. Senator Lombardi.
Introduction, please, Mr. President.
Please proceed, Senator.
And if you would indulge me, I have two sets of introductions. I guess when you don't get a speaking part in the play, you get to introduce more people.
Consider yourself indulged.
Thank you. First, I'd like to welcome all the family and friends of Majority Whip Goodwin who are here, who are no stranger to this body, and please hold your applause to the end. They are Mary Ellen's sister and brother-in-law, Sheila and Paul Conley, Mary Ellen's sister, Maureen, her nieces, Mary Grace LaRock, Tessie LaRock, and her two nephews, Jack LaRock and Liam Conley, and last, her friend, and who's also not a stranger to this body, and who's making us very proud in the Superior Court, is our good friend, the Honorable Justice Kevin McHugh of the Superior Court. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you, Senator Lombardi. Would you like to proceed?
Thank you, and I will not be as presumptuous as Senator Felag. I'll stay here and talk, Judge, Mr. President. Lastly, here with Senator Raptakis, again, no stranger to this body, is the great Dr. Donna Raptakis. Welcome to the Senate.
Thank you, Senator Lombardi. Senator McKinney.
Thank you, Mr. President. To you and through you, the members of the Senate, it is my pleasure to introduce the family of Senator John Burke. His mom, Mary Burke, who is here, who I found out today worked with my dad and my brother at Kent Hospital. This is Rhode Island, after all. And members of the family, Billy Burke, Stephen Burke, Pat Burke, Mary White, Phoebe White, and Bill White. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you, Senator McKinney. Senator Dela Cruz.
Mr. President, I have two introductions.
Please proceed.
Thank you, Mr.
Madam
President.
Leader.
I'm thrilled to welcome Senator Anthony DeLuca to the chamber. With him are his mom, Julianne DeLuca, his dad, Anthony DeLuca, his son, Tony, and his beautiful daughters, Catherine and Emily. Another introduction, I'm excited to introduce our newest Senate Minority Whip, Senator Gordon Rogers. It is my pleasure to introduce his much better half, and his friend and his wife, Heidi Rogers. And I'd also like to introduce Heidi's brother, Ernie Lamontage, and his wife, Melissa.
Thank you, Madam Leader, and welcome to the chamber. Senator Ujafusa.
Thank you, Mr. President. I would like to introduce my husband, my much better half, J. Mark Ryan, and my daughter, Catherine Carey Ryan. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Senator, and welcome to the chamber. Senator Murray.
Same request, Mr. President.
Please proceed, Senator.
It is my pleasure to introduce the mother of Senator Valverde, Kate Gerarsi, and her husband, William Valverde, and her sons, Oscar and Elliot Valverde.
Thank you, Senator Murray. Senator Palmer.
Introduction, Mr. President.
Please proceed, Mr. Chairman.
To you and through you and to the members of the Senate, it is my pleasure to introduce the family of Senator Lombardo. Hold your applause to the end. There are several. I hope I'll get this all correct. His father, Frank Lombardo Jr., his wife, Patty Lombardo, his son, Frank Lombardo IV, his daughter, Victoria Aceto, his daughter-in-law, Ashley Lombardo, his grandson, Landon Lombardo, and granddaughter, Layella Lombardo, and also Ann Gomes, Frank Lombardo Jr.'s partner. Welcome to the Senate.
Thank you, Senator Palmer. Senator Mack.
Mr. President, it is my pleasure to introduce the family and friends of Senator Gu, Lisa Chen, Dr. Kenneth Gu, Christopher Gu, Miranda Oakley, and Dr. Yan Sun, Leslie Dunn, Madeline Labriola, Tim Otimo, Ryan Harakowitz, Ann Pierce, and Laura Carnahan.
Thank you, Senator Mack. Senator Cano.
Thank you, Mr. President. Same request.
Please proceed, Madam Chair.
I'd like to introduce with my daughter Ariana.
Mommy.
Thank you. With my daughter Ariana, the guest of Senator Coleman, my dear friend. We have Elizabeth Frost, which is the mom here. Also Morgan Lohr, which is the neighbor. And we also have Adam Westbrook, which is the partner. We also have Mayor Donald Grevian and his wife Lauren Grevian from the city of Pawtucket. Welcome to the Senate.
Senator Paolino.
Introduction, Mr. President.
Please proceed, Senator.
Thank you. I'd like to introduce to the Senate Senator Morgan's mother, Joy Eaton, and her friend, Maria Christina Levine, who is actually the new Director of Public Welfare in Hopkinton. So welcome to the Senate chamber.
Thank you, Senator Paolino. Senator Sosnowski.
Introduction, Mr. President.
Please proceed, Madam Chair.
It gives me a great deal of pleasure to introduce some friends of Senator Chacon. With us today, we have Frank DeMaio Jr., who is also his friend, but also on the Senate District Committee 7, and Joanna Achille, who is also his friend, and she's our Senate Labor Committee attorney. Welcome them both.
Thank you, Senator Sosnowski. Senator Casada.
Thank you, Mr. President. Send request.
Please proceed, Senator.
I just wanted to introduce my family who is here with me today, and that would be my husband, Lazaro, who's not a secret over here. He's always around. My daughter, Leslie Polanco, my son-in-law, Daniel Nunez, my son, Emmanuel Casada, my grandkid, Celiana Casada, and Mia Nunez. Welcome to the Senate.
Thank you, Senator Casada. Senator Coleman.
Thank you, Mr. President. Same request.
Please proceed, Senator.
It's my pleasure to introduce the guests of Senator Cano today, including Roberto Cano and Isabel Franco, her parents, her fiancé, James Diosa, her daughter, Ariana Halil Diosa, and family members Elna Trujillo, Karen Gomez, and Camila Oleaga. Welcome to the Senate.
Thank you, Senator Coleman. Senator Felag, from your chair.
I'll never get a chance to go up there. Introduction, please.
Please proceed, Mr. Chairman.
I am honored to introduce the guest of Senator Oyer, her friends from Tiverton, North Kingston, and Newport, Gavin Black, Craig Graham, and Michael Rolls. Welcome to the Senate.
Thank you, Chairman Felag. Senator Rogers.
Same request, Mr. President.
Please proceed, Mr. Whip.
I'm excited to welcome Senator Minority Leader Jessica Dela Cruz guests, starting with her husband, David Dela Cruz, Sr., her sons, David Jr., Jonathan, and Benjamin Dela Cruz. And up in the balcony, her aunt, Grace Massa, her uncle, John Massa, and her great friend, Rhonda Holmes. And her mom, of course. They messed up the list for me here, Maria Ponte.
Thank you, Mr. Whip. Senator Valverde.
Thank you, Mr. President. Introduction, please.
Please proceed.
Thank you. It gives me great pleasure to introduce the guests of my old office mate and new seat mate, Senator Melissa Murray. Here in the chamber, we have her partner, Michael Mino, and her father and his partner, John Murray and Audrey Pepin. And up in the gallery, we have Woonsocket City Councilor, Honorable Brian Thompson. Welcome to the Senate.
Thank you, Senator Valverde. Senator Tokoyan.
Thank you, Mr. President. Introduction, please.
Please proceed, Senator.
Mr. President, I'd like to welcome my mother, Ann Tokoyan, my two brothers, Michael and Gary Tokoyan, my girlfriend, Karen Stamp, the chair of the Smithfield Democratic Town Committee, Mr. Lawrence Mancini, my good friend, Al Constantino, and another good friend and mentor, Colonel Brendan Diary, and his wife, Michelle.
Thank you. Thank you, Senator Tokoyan. Senator DeMario.
Thank you, Mr. President. Same request.
Please proceed, Madam.
Thank you. It
Senator.
is my pleasure to introduce the guests of Senator Lawson, her husband, Len Rounds, her sister, Kathy McCabe, her brother-in-law, Don McCabe, and her cousins, Joanne Malika and Steve Malika. Welcome to the Senate.
Senator LaMountain.
Same request, Mr. President.
Please proceed, Senator.
It's with my pleasure to welcome Senator Mark McKenney's family, his wife Tricia McKenney, his daughter Caitlin Whaley, and her husband Kevin, and their sons Owen and Liam, and Senator McKenney's son Dan McKenney and his wife Dion Fabados. Welcome to the Senate.
Thank you, Senator LaMountain. Senator Gu.
Thank you, Mr. President. Same request.
Please proceed, Senator Gu.
Thank you. Mr. President, to you and through you to the members of the Senate, it is my pleasure to introduce Senator Tiara Mack's friends, Corey Jones, Raina Thomas, Ken Barber, as well as Senator Mack's campaign manager, Kamika Ross, and mentor, Gretchen Rotha. Welcome to the Senate.
Thank you, Senator Gu. Senator Chacon.
An introduction, Mr. President.
Please proceed, Mr. Chairman.
For the members of the Senate, I have taken the pleasure of introducing Senator De Palma's family because I knew he has a list here and I know how he elaborates for quite a lengthy time. But with that, I'd like to introduce Senator De Palma's wife, Margaret De Palma, his granddaughter, Kelly Simone, his granddaughter, Abigail Isom, his granddaughter, grandson, Graham Isom, his grandson, Tucker Isom, and his grandson, Peter Simone, and a friend, Cameron Ramsey. Welcome to the Senate.
Thank you, Senator Chacon. Senator Lawson.
Thank you, Mr. President. Same request.
Please proceed, Senator.
I have three introductions. Mr. President, to you and through you, it's my pleasure to introduce to the Senate my colleague from East Providence, Senator Lauria's family, her husband David, her son Jacob, her daughter Maddie, and her sister Christine Norick. Welcome to the Senate. I'd also like to introduce my other colleague from East Providence, Senator Brito's family, his wife Danielle, his daughter Isabel, his son Isaiah, his daughter Ileana, his brother John Brito Jr., his sister Donna Silva, his sister Karen Brito, and brother Tony Brito, Keith Oliveira, a friend of his, friends of both of ours, Tori and Violet Jessup Crowley, his niece, John and Brianna Dos Santos, and Bobby Brito Oliveira, his nephew. Welcome to the Senate. And lastly, but not least, my seatmate, Senator DeMario. I'd like to welcome to the Senate her husband, Eric, her son, Leo and Samuel, and Morgan, her daughter. Welcome to the Senate.
Thank you, Senator Lawson. I want to recognize the presence of our United States Senator here, Sheldon Whitehouse. Thank you very much for coming, and thank you for everything you do, Sheldon. Senator Loya.
Thank you, Mr. President. Introductions?
Please proceed, Senator.
I'll start by also recognizing my friend and constituent, Senator Whitehouse, to the chamber. I also want to recognize Senator Chairman Feeleg's family members to the chamber. Today we have his sisters, Mary Johns, Jane Belasco, his brothers, Mark and John Feeleg, his sister-in-law, Angie Feeleg, and his nephew, Brian Feeleg. Welcome to the chamber.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Senator Zuria.
Same request, please.
Please proceed, Senator.
Mr. President, to you and through you to the members of the Senate, it's my pleasure to introduce the family of my esteemed colleague, Senator Acosta, his partner, Allison Chatham, and his two very well-behaved sons, Leon Ernesto Acosta Chatham and Jonathan Andres Acosta Chatham. Welcome to the Senate.
Thank you, Senator Zuria. Senator Morgan.
Thank you, Mr. President. To you and through you and to the members of our Senate, it is my pleasure to introduce Senator Thomas Paolino's mother, Marie, and father, Louis Paolino, his beautiful, lovely girlfriend, Miranda Vilu, and my brother, who just got here a little late, but better late than never, Bernard L. Eaton III. Thank you. Welcome.
Thank you, Senator Morgan. Senator McKinney.
Thank you, Mr. President. If I could, introduction.
Please proceed, Senator.
Mr. President, it's my distinct honor to introduce the family of our new colleague, Matt LaMountain, his wife, Cassandra Aubin, his son, Desmond LaMountain, his daughter, Nora LaMountain, his grandmother, Marion Fox, brother, Brandon LaMountain, and sister-in-law, Jen LaMountain. Welcome to the Senate.
Thank you, Senator McKinney. Senator Aptakis.
Thank you, Mr. President. Same request.
Please proceed, Senator.
Up in the gallery, I have a longtime friend, Greg Mosey of Warwick, and also a family friend, Aidan Carey of Lincoln. He's a junior and political science major at the College of Holy Cross in Worcester. Welcome to the Senate.
Are there further introductions? Mr. Leader.
Mr. President, I'm not sure it would go over well with you if we didn't introduce your family. So it certainly needs no introduction to you, Mr. President, but for the members of the Senate, I want to introduce the family of President Ruggerio, who's here with us today. His sister Lisa and her husband, Jimmy Aceto, Charles, his son, and Jill Ruggerio, along with their children, Eva and Mia, and Amanda Ruggerio and her husband, PJ, along with their children, Natalie and Jameson, and of course, a good friend of the President's and a North Providence resident, Lisa Andoja, who joined us today. Welcome to the Senate.
Thank you, Mr. Leader. I do want to recognize the presence of someone that's up in the balcony, and that's North Providence Town Council President Dino Ordiello, a good friend of mine. I want to thank him for everything that he does, not only for the people of North Providence, but for me during my campaign. So I want to recognize his presence today. Are there further introductions? Are there any announcements? Senator Lombardi, your light is lit.
Announcement, please, Mr.
Please
President.
proceed.
Thank you, Mr. President. Ladies and gentlemen of the Senate, I've been asked by the Rhode Island Association of Nurse Anesthetists to indicate that tomorrow's annual holiday event has been postponed to a date to be determined. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you, Senator. Further announcements and/or introductions? Madam Whip.
Thank you, Mr. President. If there's no further business to come before the Senate, I'm going to ask that the Senate stand in recess, but I have some announcements about this afternoon's festivities. I wanted to announce that there will be a reception immediately upon adjournment in the Senate lounge. I also would like to make the senators aware that session will again adjourn next Tuesday at 4 p.m. here in the chamber. Thank you, Ryan. I've been here a few years. And this is going to be a long 2 years if you think this. Just kidding, Mr. President. I just wanted to also say that we ask that the members stay in their seats. We're going to have the benediction and a musical selection. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you, Madam Whip. I would now like to call on Stephen Laporcio to sing our final musical selection, God Bless America.
Land that I love, stand beside her and guide her through the night with a light from above. From the mountains to the prairies, to the oceans white with foam. White with foam, God bless America, my home sweet home. God bless America, my home sweet home.
At this time, it is my sincere honor to introduce Rabbi Sarah Mack of the Temple Bethel in Providence for purposes of delivering of the benediction. Rabbi Mack.
Thank you, Speaker. Eternal God, at this moment of hope and inspiration, we give our gratitude for the sanctity and smoothness of our democratic processes. We pray for our senators who serve our state with selfless devotion, whose noble deeds and sacrifice benefit each of us here in the great state of Rhode Island. We are ever grateful for these women and men of inspiration and insight who build our communities with wisdom and vision. Stewards dedicated to justice, unafraid to face the challenges of our day. And so as you go forth in your work on this beautiful day, we offer you this ancient benediction. Yevarechecha Adonai v'yishmerecha. May God keep you and bless you in all that you do. Yisa Adonai panav elecha v'yechuneka. May God's grace shine upon you in your work here in this chamber. Yisa Adonai panav elecha v'yasem lecha shalom. May you find peace in your work for the people, as we say together in faith. Amen.
Thank you, Rabbi. Thank you, Rabbi Mack. I now call on Whip Goodwin for the purpose of recess.
Thank you, Mr. President. If there's no further business to come before the Senate this afternoon, I ask that the Senate stand in recess until 4 p.m. next Tuesday.
Senator
Thank you,
Goodwin
Mr.
moves
President.
that the Senate be in recess until 4 p.m. next Tuesday. All those in favor, please indicate by saying aye. Those opposed, nay. The ayes have it. The Senate is in recess.